Hi, I'm Tom, coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you for selecting this video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to deer-proof your garden using a 10-level defense system. We have 3 vegetable gardens on our property, and I've been battling the deer for over 10 years. Today, I'm going to share with you everything I know about deer-proofing, what works and what doesn't work. Let's get to it. Level 1 is you want to create a perimeter barrier around your property. The first way to keep deer out of your garden is to keep them off your property to begin with. What I do at the beginning of the year is I establish a perimeter barrier using this, coyote urine. You can acquire this at a place called the Pea Store. That's actually the name of it. You can buy coyote urine, you can buy lion feces, you can buy all kinds of things there. What I'm going to do is go around the yard and I'll show you how I spray the perimeter of the yard so that when the deer come walking down the sidewalks in our neighborhood, they're going to get to my driveway and they're just going to say, keep going, nothing to see here. I don't like the smell of this place. I'm just going to keep walking. Now, when you use this stuff, you definitely want to glove up because this stuff stinks. You get this on your hands, you're going to be smelling that for about a week. Now, what I do is I walk the perimeter of my property and I look for places where the deer like to come through. This is a little gap in the vegetation, so I'm going to hit this. So if they come walking through here and they peek their nose through, they're going to smell this stuff and say, ooh, smells like a coyote's been here. Let's keep walking. Level 2 is you want to create an odor barrier. So you want to plant stuff that the deer don't like the smell of. I plant marigolds. Some people say this might be an old wives' tale, but I believe those old wives. I think it works. We planted marigolds all the way around the perimeter of the garden. I planted, 500 marigolds here. So if a deer happens to walk down here through my yard and he gets to this area, he's going to smell the marigolds, which he doesn't like, instead of smelling my bean sprouts in there, which I don't want him to smell. This is kind of like when I'm shopping with my wife and she walks into a candle store. I walk in, I turn around and walk out. That's what the deer do when they come up against these marigolds. Turn around and walk away. Level 3 is deer spray. I don't have a specific brand I recommend. These all kind of work about the same. These are a offensive odor made up of cinnamon oil, clove oil, garlic, and putrid egg solids. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't smell very good. Now, you cannot spray this directly on your vegetables or it'll foul your food, but you can spray this on other plants around the perimeter of the garden. So if the deer walk up near the garden, they put their nose in that plant, they're going to smell some putrid egg solids instead of smelling my tomato plants in there. Level 4 is pretty obvious, a fence. You should check with your local building department to see what the allowable height is of your fence. In my municipality, we're only allowed a 4-foot fence like this. So this is from your home improvement store. This is a garden variety, no pun intended, wire fence that you can put up pretty quickly. These are fairly inexpensive. But this 4-foot fence isn't even going to slow down a deer if they want to jump over it. Deer can jump over an 8-foot high fence. But a 4-foot fence creates some kind of barrier, so if they're walking around the yard at night and they run into it, it'll stop them from accidentally walking into the garden. But if they want to jump over this, they can do it with ease. That takes us to level 5, which is a little less obvious. I call this the unsafe landing zone. If you look in this garden, I created these raised beds. These are a geometric form that the deer isn't going to be familiar with out in nature. And I put down this pea gravel, which they can't really tell what that is because they're not going to find something that looks like this on the forest floor. So they don't really know what they're jumping into here. If you're out here at night, they might think this is a swimming pool or something. They've never jumped over this fence. This puny little 4-foot fence, which I know they can jump with ease, they've never jumped into this, I think, because they don't know where they're going to land in here. They don't want to jump into the bed. They don't want to jump onto the gravel. So they just walk up here, they look over, and they just keep walking. Now I'm over here at my big garden. Number 6 is a visual barrier. So as I mentioned when I showed you my small fence on the small garden, I also have a 4-foot fence on this garden which complies with the local building code, but I also built a visual barrier which is 8 feet high, of this fishing line. And I use a blue fluorescent fishing line because that's the color deer can see at night. So when the deer come up here at night, they see an 8-foot barrier here. They don't know if that's a fence or not. I know it's not a fence. I know it's made of fishing line, but the deer look at that and they're like, wow, that's an 8-foot barrier. I'm not sure I can jump over that. They could possibly jump through it. They did one time. I'll talk about that later. Level 7 is I use this stuff called deer tape. This is a synthetic material that's also soaked in that putrid egg solid, garlic, cinnamon, and clove. It doesn't smell too good. You don't want to be touching that. And this tape is right at nose level. So if that deer comes wandering down here and he gets past the marigolds, he gets past the putrid egg solids on my butterfly bushes, and he's thinking about sticking his nose over that fence, his nose is going right on that stinky stuff right there. Doesn't smell very good, and the deer don't like that. Level 8 is visual distraction. Around my garden, I put these spinning mirrors. I found these at a local craft show because I like to support the local craftspeople. These spin around in the wind. When the sun hits these, they flash all these little lights around here. And I also put these battery-powered LED lights right behind them. These come on from dusk to dawn. And if this moves around in the night, this thing will start spinning these little flashing lights around. It looks like a disco dance party in here. So if some deer comes walking down through my yard, he thinks this is John Travolta's house. He's not coming in here because there's something crazy going on. He sees this disco ball spinning. So he's going to turn around and keep walking. Level 9 is row covers. If the deer actually breach the prior 8 levels of defense, and this is really your last resort, put these row covers over your plants. I make these out of PVC framing that I make myself. I paint them green so they match the natural look of my garden. I cover them with this green tulle, which is a type of fabric that allows the sun and the rainwater to still hit the plants. But you can only use this tulle if you don't need pollinators to pollinate your plants. For the row covers where I have pollinators needed, I use a plastic mesh cover where the pollinators can still get in and out, but the deer can't get their snout down in there. I can't show you level 10 because it's not here. And by that I mean, don't plant things that the deer love. We made that mistake one time. We planted sweet potatoes in that bed right behind you there. The deer smell those a mile away. They smell sweet even to a human being like myself. The deer could smell those things from down the street. They made a beeline down here, jumped through my fishing line, tore the cover off of that bed, and devoured those sweet potatoes. They thought they hit the lottery. They thought they hit the jackpot, and they came back every night looking for more. It was rough. It was a bad scene. So we learned the hard way. At some point, you just can't keep the deer out unless you're going to build a maximum security prison, put razor wire around your garden here, which my building code doesn't allow that. So we just stopped planting sweet potatoes. Problem solved. Once we got rid of those, deer stopped coming in, never breached the defense system again. So don't plant stuff that the deer love. That's the overview of my 10-level system for defending your garden against deer. Good luck with yours. Thanks for watching my video, and don't screw it up.